Hello Evertonians and welcome to the All Together Now Everton Football Club podcast. As you can see, we are at our wonderful home on the banks of the Royal Blue Mersey. Yes, we are at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. I'm Tony Scott, I'm joined by Jez Clein. We're here to preview Everton's first ever game in the Premier League at their wonderful new home. Jez, what's it like here being on the touchline at this fantastic football stadium?
It's big, but it's small, if you know what I mean.
How'd you work that out? Come on, explain that, please tell me.
I've been to some stadiums and they just look massive, and they might still be 50,000 seater stadiums. This seems to be really compact, so you're going to have 52,000 people in here on Sunday, but it seems a lot closer. The footprint of it just seems a lot closer to the pitch. Just thinking of like football grounds that I've been to when you've been for stadiums and you've been on the pitch and they just look a lot bigger. This seems quite compact, and I'm just looking forward to hearing the noise from people on Sunday.
Yeah, I think that's probably kudos to Dan Mice, the architect, isn't it? Because, listen, you when you've been to Tottenham's ground and the Emirates, they do look like big corporate bowls. This seems like it's a purpose-built football and stadium, don't you? As you've just said, the close proximity to the pitch as well. And it just feels as if that noise level is just going to increase when, obviously, the fans are screaming for a decision and whatnot. It's a proper footballing stadium, albeit in the modernised 2025.
It is. It's just, it doesn't look to being any attention to detail left behind, and just looking around really for the first time. I've been to the first couple of test events. I wasn't here against Roma, but there was still obviously things that hadn't been properly put in, and seats and the dugouts and just all the corporate areas. It's a proper football stadium, and it has been built for football. Unlike, as you say, a couple of stadiums like West Ham, Man City, they weren't specifically built for football. This one is. Yeah, just exciting. More excited now, aren't we? Sunday.
Yeah, we'll talk about Sunday shortly, previewing the game. Does it feel surreal considering? Obviously, we've been doing this podcast since many, many years, probably going back to, I think when Sam Allardyce was actually sacked is when we started this podcast, believe it or not. So it's been a long, long road in terms of getting to this stadium. But does it seem surreal, Jez, the fact that what Everton Football Club and the supporters have gone through in all this time, we were rammed down our throats that this is going to be the best stadium in the Championship, the points deduction staying up, we've had 3 relegation fights, we've had potential takeovers to 777, John Textor, etc. Nobody probably arch in arch would have thought that Everton Football Club, with the teams that we've had over the past couple of years, with the managers that we've had, with everything that's gone on and off the pitch, that we would step foot into this stadium as a Premier League club, and that's going to happen on Sunday for the first time.
That's the big relief, isn't it? I mean, there's been, as you say, so many scare stories in the last couple of years. As you say, points deductions was probably the biggest threat. PSR, another threat. Losing players, not being able to sign players, another threat. Takeovers, failed takeovers. So it was like you just wanted to get to this point as a Premier League side. And not only are we a Premier League side, we're actually seeing light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, we may have been slow in the transfer market so far, but we know we have money to spend and we don't have to sell players. So it's the start of a new era. We would have probably preferred a better result the other night, but it is. Sunday's really the start of the new era. I remember last year we were counting down the days of Goodison.
Yeah.
Only 17 games to go, only 16 games to go, and it still seemed like a long way away to actually think that we're going to be stepping foot in this ground for a Premier League game. But
before we look ahead to Sunday's fixture, the stadium itself, yes, as we just touched on, it's purposely built for football, but we can probably second guess that it's just not going to be football here. There's going to be contests, there's going to be sporting events, obviously, the rugby, etc.
Yeah.
There's going to be lots of sporting events, and that's crucial, isn't it, in terms of the global expenditure of the Everton Football Club?
Yeah, I mean, what you find with these things is that the stadium sells tickets as well as what's actually going to be here. So I know the Rugby League, that was a sellout, 52,000 people. It's not a rugby league city, but it's sold out because people want to see events at this stadium, and it will be the same. I mean, if they have boxing here or whatever they have here, obviously I'm very keen on on concerts being here. And
would you be up for a concert here, Jez?
oh, no, that. I travel all around the.
Well, Anfield get them quite a lot. We've seen in the past few years. So, listen, it'd be great, wouldn't it, to have concerts here and next summer, I presume?
Yeah, I believe that's the plan. I believe they've got permission to have 6 concerts. I've heard a couple of names being mentioned.
Got to keep them close to your chest.
I don't know.
It's up to you.
I've heard McCartney's going to be here. I've heard the Foo Fighters are going to be here. And I travelled to Villa Park 2 years ago to see the Foo Fighters. So for it to be on my own doorstep, that would be superb.
It would be, wouldn't it? Looking ahead to Sunday then, Jez, matters on the pitch. How important is this in terms of results? Now, I think when we were in the Bramley Moor pub, just literally 2 minutes behind, where am I now? I'm trying to get me bearings here. So, yeah, the Bramley Moor pub is that side, and I'm trying to get me bearings here. South Stand that side, yeah, I know where I am. River Mersey's that side. So, yeah, when we were back in the Bramley Moor pub a couple of weeks ago doing, obviously, our podcast there, I remember asking you, like, the importance of that Brighton fixture. And I think what we obviously all debate is that the message that it sends out to the Premier League. Now, because we've lost our first Premier League match of the season, there's added extra pressure on the players to get a result. But there's more added extra pressure because it's inside their brand new stadium. So I'm just generalising what football fans up and down the country, they'll be tuning in to watch Everton's first game at the stadium. They want to know what the camera angle's like. They want to know everything. But more importantly, they want to know Everton's performance and results. Now, the result, in my opinion, matters tenfold more than the performance. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of the message it sends out to the rest of the Premier League. Because if Everton really get a result, put a show on for their own supporters, then all of a sudden that message that goes out to the rest of the Premier League going, they're not going to be a decent team to go and get a point against there. Not many teams are going to be going down the Mersey, getting a point down there. But if we were to get beat or get a negative result, all of a sudden it goes, well, hang on, you could get at them there. It's their new home. Listen, City probably had the same, Manchester City and Arsenal. All these teams going into their new homes probably had 1 or 2 teething problems. How important is it that Everton get off to a winning start on Sunday?
It's always, you always need to get a win under your belt, don't you, early on in the season, because the longer it goes without a win, it becomes obviously plays on your mind, the supporters, and so it's important to win. But I think I'd like to see us sort of set the tone like Leeds did against us the other night. You know, for the first 20 minutes, they absolutely just didn't
ran over us, didn't they?
Yeah. And it's like they don't have the quality, but they made up for that in terms of closing us down, in pressing. And I mean, under Moyes, Goodison did become a bit of a fortress. Teams like United, they didn't like coming to Goodison, and that's what we've got to make this place, that teams don't like coming here, not just for the opposition they're playing, but because of the fans as well.
So saying that, how do you think a Brighton fan's narrative would think their perspective on this game coming here for the first time? Would they think, take a point there straight away at home, at Goodison Hill Dickinson Stadium, we'll get that right. Hill Dickinson for the first time, they go, hang on, we'll get a point there. Or will they think, hang on, let's get after them there, the crowd's on top of them straight away? Is it that 10 minutes that's more important, the first 10?
It's like what we were saying when we went to Leeds. We know the crowd are going to be up for it, so let's hope we can keep them silent for the first 20 minutes, and maybe the crowd will get on their back, because we know the Everton fans do have a tendency to get on the players' backs. You'd like to think that it will be more of a sort of carnival atmosphere, and that I've always said, say we're playing a really good team and we're expected to be beat or to get beat. After 20 minutes, if someone tries a shot and it hits the back of the stanchion, everyone's like, oh, unlucky.
Yeah.
If we're playing a poor side and he puts one into like top of the stands, and it's like, well, he's not going to shoot next time, is he?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping the fans would sort of like, it'll almost be, everything will be supportive, and that will help the players.
What I noticed last Saturday for the Roma game pre-season friendly that we lost last weekend, I noticed, and I think you mentioned it in the test event as well on our previous podcast, that everyone was in a joyful mood, everyone was happy. So like, as you said, like, everyone was like taking pictures and everything else. If we can translate that to the first 15, 20 minutes and make this an absolute bear pit. The noise is going to be incredible here coming 5-2. It's going to be absolutely bursting from the seams. You're going to hear Z cars.
Oh, yeah.
And that was for the pre-season friendly, by the way. It was incredible. I was fortunate enough to be up there, and I was like, wow, the air stood up on the back of me, and I'm thinking, I never thought I'd witness Z cars at this stadium like this in front of a full house of 53,000. It was incredible. So you can only times that by 10 on Sunday. It's a bank holiday weekend. Everyone's going to be having a couple of pints before and after. They're going to be getting to the obviously the complex in the Plaza Loch Haley for the fan zone. They're going to be going through their routine, and it's going to be new to a lot of supporters because not everyone has been to this stadium before. No. So a lot of Everton supporters, I know quite a few. I think Lewis, our cameraman, is exactly the same. That he's coming here for the first time as well. So it's going to be interesting for them, sets of the supporters who've never been here for the first time, their routine in terms of like, how many transport is, where am I going for a pint before it, where am I going after it, am I heading into town after it, what like, is there going to be a singing? Speaking to obviously Matt Jones from the Blue Room before, and he was saying that it's going to be a little bit surreal because of we're all sitting in different spaces. Yeah. So whereas in obviously well renowned that the Gladys seat was very, very vocal and start the songs off, but obviously we're presuming that the South Stands, the very, very impressive South Stands will be that, but there's still going to be different people there in terms of personnel. So if you stand up and you start singing, you might get someone go, hang on mate, I'm not used to that, I've been sat in the Bullens for ages. So it's going to be different, isn't it, in terms of that?
Yeah, we're all going to have to get used to it. I mean, if you just think back to the last game at Goodison, that was the carnival atmosphere as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And almost the game was secondary.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not secondary on Sunday, but I think it will have that sort of feeling beforehand. Once the game starts, it will be different. But yeah, it's all about getting routines, isn't it? My seat will be up there. We've been surrounded by the same people, or we were surrounded by the same people in the Upper Bullens for about 20 years, and they're almost part of the family. And it's there's a bit of trepidation. Some are, but there's a bit of trepidation thinking, what happens if someone who don't get home is sat next to you?
So, because Everton with a moan, or someone's very quiet, and that's the...
What about the person who's going to be sat next to me?
Exactly, yeah, poor. If you're sat next to him or sitting by him, forget it. But listen, it's going to be a joyous occasion on Sunday, and I think a lot of, obviously, if you're coming on Sunday, bring your photo, bring your cameras, and make sure you take it, because it's going to be a day to remember. Only if we get a result, by the way. You want to get that result, but I'm sure, I think the hairs are going to stand up on everyone's neck once Ed Cars comes on there at 5-2, isn't it?
I think they're standing up now, just thinking about it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that part. It's just about getting routines. I think I'm going to try and get here quite early. I'd be surprised if I wasn't here for about 12:30. Whereas normally for Goodison, I could rock up at about 2:45. And yeah, you could, because you knew your routine, didn't you? Obviously parking and transport, and obviously there'll be teething problems, but people will get used to it. Just looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I've mentioned before the transport issues, but the trains are every 15 minutes going into Sandhills and obviously Moorfields as well. So this will be very critical over the transport system, but fingers crossed it stays 15 minutes before and after, and everyone can get to and from the stadium safe and sound.
It's going to be 20 degrees as well, so nice day to get steps in.
The test will be winter time. That will be the test. Night games, that will be the true test of the transport links. Matters on the pitch, Jez, does David Moyes really need a team talk?
There was that famous one, wasn't there? Howard Kendall just opened the window and said, listen to those Evertonians, and that was his team talk. I think you could probably do a similar thing on Sunday. If they can't respond to this, then they shouldn't be playing professional football, should they?
I agree. This is the stuff of dreams, though, in terms of like, this is why the likes of your Jack Grealishes of the world and Kieran Dewsbury-Halls and Thierry Barry's and obviously James Tarkowski's of the world. That's why they become footballers, to play in arenas and to play in occasions like this. This is a Premier League game. It's going to be screened all over the world. It's on Sky Sports. It's 2:00 kickoff. It's a Sunday. It's a bank holiday. It's prime time where millions of people all over the globe are going to be tuning in. If you can't get yourself up for this, you're in the wrong sport. You're just in the totally wrong sport. And I'm certain that David Moyes, he won't need much to say. In terms of tactics, that'll probably take care of itself at Finch Farm this week. It will. In terms of what we've seen at Ellen Rose on Monday night, Jez, are we looking to see anything different in terms of tactics or personnel from you?
I mentioned the other night, we need someone left-sided. We need more balance. So if Mykolenko isn't fit, I don't think you can play James Garner there. It's not fair on him. It's not fair on the team. That's not his position. He struggled once he received the ball because he doesn't have that left foot. Leeds seem to play on that quite easily. I'd be tempted to throw McNeil in just as a sort of like a left wing back, and if we're short of full backs, have Garner a right wing back. And
is that just for balance? Would you say throw McNeil?
It's
but would that make it different? I get what you're saying, and it's a good point. But would Dwight McNeil for James Garner, would that make that much of a difference in terms of the team's performance? Because I thought Garner played okay, to be honest. He didn't do anything bad. He didn't do anything great, by the way, but he was steady. What are you thinking in terms of balance? That's just the sole reason?
Yeah, and you know what McNeil gives you as well. He's got to get forward, especially as I'd favour the three centre halves that we've got play at the back. Garner on the right, McNeil on the left, and that gives him a licence to get forward as well. And we know he can. So
would you put Jake O'Brien at centre back with James Tarkowski?
And Keane, I'd have three of them.
Oh, three at the back and then have his two wing backs then?
So that's more comfortable for their positioning as well. So we know Garner can play right back. We know he can play right midfield.
Yeah.
So that's perfect for him. I say McNeil would have the licence then to get forward, and that's his position as well. And he just, although he's not blessed with pace, we know he's got that energy as well. And I think we missed a lot of energy the other night.
Yeah. I think the big question a lot of fans will be debating, sure, obviously on lots of different Everton podcasts, and everyone who's tuning in, watching this and speaking to their Everton fans and family, is who's going to be starting up front.
We know who you think will be
I've been saying this straight away, so you know my opinions on this. But do you think we've just actually seen Thierry Barry? He just walked past us 2 minutes ago. Do you think he will start with the French under-21 international?
I've not seen enough of him to know what he offers. We know what Beto offers. I'd be disappointed if we've spent all that money on a player who doesn't offer more than Beto. So from that point of view, then yes, I don't think he didn't get much service the other night, Beto, but he didn't cover himself in glory. He's not someone who can hold the ball up. We know Brighton, they like to retain possession, so we're not probably going to get 40% of the ball. So
sorry to we're talking about Beto. Sorry to interrupt, Jez. It's just do you think what David Moyes has been very critical about Beto's performances pre-match, do you think that's had a negative effect on Beto's performance, that he hasn't responded, or maybe he's testing his character, thinking, I'm going to show you. Do you know what I mean? You're having a go at me performances. And it hasn't seemed to have worked, does it? Does he seem like an arm around the shoulder type of player to you?
I think he probably does, but we know where his strengths are. We know where his weaknesses are. We know his strengths as he likes the ball in front of him, and he didn't get any of that the other day. We know his weaknesses is the ball just bounces back off him. His hold-up play isn't great. So if Barry's hold-up play is better than that, then say due to the fact that we're probably not going to have a lot of possession, I'd be tempted. I mean, what have we got to lose? Let's see what he can do. As long as the occasion won't be too big for him. Let's see what he can do, even if it's for an hour, and then bring on Beto after an hour when their defenders may be a bit more tired.
One of the big debates a lot of fans will be saying, is Jack Grealish fit enough to start a Premier League game? Judging from what we've seen from Jack Grealish as Manchester City career in the previous 12 months, 18 months, I think he's played 2 90-minute games since the start of the year. Can Everton start him against Brighton?
I think we've got to, haven't we?
Is that taking a chance, though? I get what you say. I would personally. Playing devil's advocate, the lad's not been playing football for a long period of time. He didn't train pre-season. He was training away from the Manchester City players. He didn't go on the pre-season tour at Manchester City. He's hardly kicked a ball. Now, he played best part of 12 minutes at Ellen Road. Was it 12, 15 minutes, was it?
Yeah.
So you're thinking to yourself, can he literally come from out the clouds and start a Premier League match and ask him to play 60, 70 minutes in a Premier League game, in a high-intensity game? We're not playing a Burnley. We're not playing a Sunderland. We are playing a Brighton team that like to pass the ball around. They're a possession-based side. They're going to have our midfielders running about. Is this ideal for Jack Grealish to start for Everton?
I always wonder how unfit a professional footballer can get. That is their life. That is their livelihood. Even if they don't play, they're professional sports people, aren't they? How unfit can you get? But it's not like me and you just.
Yeah, but the difference, because I've been in and around gyms and playing football alongside professional boxers and everything. It's surreal, because you can see someone who's literally looking really well built, looking fit as anything. Now, if you look at Jack Grealish, he's toned, he looks incredible. But lasting a game of football in the Premier League is totally different from being fit and being match fit. They're two totally different things. So, can Everton get 70 minutes out of him on Sunday, albeit he's had 2 games of football all year? Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a player playing 60 minutes. It's rare for midfielders and strikers to play a full 90. I know people go, oh, well, look, even this Dibbling, who we've obviously been linked with still again, they say, oh, well, he only completed 5 90-minute matches. And it's like, well, if you look at Ndiaye, he gets dragged off after 70 minutes. In fact, probably only the likes of McNeil were one of the few midfielders who lasted a 90 minutes. It's rare with having 5 substitutes. It's rare for lads to play a full 90 minutes anyway. You like to keep your back 4 settled. You don't want to make too many changes there. So it's the midfielders and the strikers who do get rotated all the time. So I'm sure he's got an hour in him. I mean, he's been training with us now for nearly 2 weeks. He's got to be, if he's not there, he's got to be very close. And I'm sure I'd rather see to get an hour out of him the first hour rather than him coming on us.
Yeah,
I think he'll give us more impact starting a game.
Hate to agree with him, but I am on this one. Jack Grealish has got to start for Everton. I'll throw a curveball at you then, Jez.
Go on.
Seamus Coleman was the last captain at Goodison Park. Is there a shout for him to play right back to become the first captain to lead the team out at the Hill Dickinson Stadium?
Is he fit?
Well, he was on the bench at Ellen Road.
You
would.
would.
It's enough for the bench. You presume that he's fit.
You would, wouldn't you?
You'd like to see it. The emotional Evertonian you would love to see.
If we've not got another right back, then why wouldn't you? I mean, they've obviously think that he can do it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given him another year's contract. A lot of the time, someone like him gets through 90 minutes by what he's got up there. And he'll give 100%. It's just, I suppose if he does start, it will tell us a lot, because obviously he didn't last too long, did he, against Southampton?
Yeah.
It would be nice to see him, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Either side out. But he's got to be, Moyes got to think that he's capable of doing it. But I think has
he got to take the emotional side away from this fixture, Moyes?
Well,
how difficult is that, would you say? Because obviously David Moyes, he bleeds blue, we know that. But it will be difficult for him to take the emotion away from this fixture on Sunday. It will be so difficult because of the nature of the event. And it is an event, because lots of Evertonians are going to be piling in here for the first time. It's going to be 53,000. It's the first Premier League fixture. It'll be the first time we're going to see that full allocation of the away supporters in there. There was about 1,000 Roma there on Saturday, to be fair to them. They made some noise, by the way. But Brighton are going to be over there on that far side. So we're going to see this full to the rafters. How important is that David Moyes tells the players you need to take the emotion out of it? But at the same token, he needs the players emotionally charged because of what League's done to us and the nature of the match. It's difficult to get that balance.
Yeah, you can almost treat it like a derby in a way. Emotional, and the players have played in enough games like that to know what's needed and to make sure they don't go over the board. It's like it'll be quite easy for some of the players to get wound up and just throw themselves into an absolutely ridiculous tackle after a couple of minutes and suddenly you're down to 10 men. But they're professionals, aren't they? They've been around long enough. It's a home game as well. everyone is backing them, apart from the couple of thousand that will be in there. So it should be straightforward for them.
Now, you are a referee, Jez. Mr. Atwell is in charge of this one. Just from an official's perspective, now we've seen what strange decisions can happen in the Premier League, what we've seen in week 1. Can this place become really intimidating for match officials, would you say?
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know what the noise is like yet. Well, I mean, we've not scored a competitive goal yet. We're all looking forward to that, but it's not. There was nothing better than a wound-up Goodison Park, whether that was because of a poor refereeing decision, whether that was because of a bad challenge, or that's when Goodison was at its best. And away managers, highly respected away managers like Wenger and Ferguson, they didn't like coming to Goodison, and you can bet your bottom dollar, referees at the end of the day, they're just human beings like me and you. That will affect them. It will affect them. It will get to them. So we've got to make sure it's horrible for them. Yeah,
I know. I agree. I totally agree. And I think with this being the first game as well, Stuart Atwell in charge. I think Lee Betts he's on VAR, and he was the referee's assistant at Ellen Road that controversially handed Leeds a penalty. Can this crowd get on top of the referee on Sunday? Would you say so?
Oh yeah, quite clearly. I mean, people are going to.
Do you buckle in this pressure? Let's put it that way. Would you, if you were officiating in a game of this magnitude on Sunday in front of 53,000, all baying for blood, first game of the Premier League, you'd like to think you're obviously going to be professional, but it'd be so intimidating because of the nature of the match.
I don't think people do realise how difficult a job it is.
Yeah.
When you've got 50,000 people screaming at you. I mean, absolutely screaming. It's bad enough having 30 people screaming at you on the touchline, but to have 50,000 people screaming at you, and referees, they're not computers, they're human beings, and their thought processes, and it's like they've got a split second to make a decision, and if 50,000 people are telling them something, you got to veer towards it, and that's probably what happened with Leeds' penalty the other day.
Yeah.
If that was behind closed doors, the chances are he probably wouldn't have gone like that to his ear, because he's not heard 30,000 people screaming for a handball, and it probably gets overlooked, but there'll be no hiding place for him on Sunday.
Let's make sure it's difficult for Mr. Atwell to take charge of this one on Sunday. Before we go to predictions, let's our camera and pan to the South Stand. Let's go to our South Stand, Jez, for predictions. This place is going to be absolutely bouncing, and as you can see behind me, there's lots of banners and flags from the 1878 group. It generates a fantastic atmosphere, and what they do is brilliant for the supporters. So the atmosphere is going to be absolutely incredible here. That South Stand is going to be a hell of a noise and a hell of a scene to watch on Sunday as well. From my experience from the Roma game, the noise levels were incredible. And I think when Dewsbury had a shot in the first half, and because I was sat up there, it was like an aftermath of a noise. It was like, wow, and whoa. So I can only imagine the noise levels, what it's going to be like on Sunday. If you are attending the Hill Dickinson Stadium on Sunday, you are in for a hell of a treat. I'm sure you'll be looking forward to that one all weekend. Jez, the most important time of the podcast is predictions. What is your prediction for Everton versus Brighton? First game at the Hill Dickinson Stadium.
I mean, it's really important not to lose. You certainly don't want to have that.
I'll put you on the spot. Would you take a draw?
I was going to ask you the same question. I was going to suggest 1-1 and suggest that would we be happy with 1-1, and I think we would. I mean, Goodison last year, we only won 5 home games all season. I think we won 24 points out of a possible 57.
And David Moyes won the majority of them towards the back end of the season.
I think he got 14 points from 10 games. It was 10 from 9 under Dyche. So we've not had a great home record. So it's not like if we did draw, people will go, oh, it's going to cost us the new stadium. I would take a 1-1. I wouldn't be upset with a 1-1.
Don't get beat then. What is your prediction though?
1-1.
1-1. I'm going for a 2-1 last minute Everton winner. Have a bit of that.
Imagine.
Have a bit of. Imagine the noise. Imagine The city centre will be a sea of blue on Bank Holiday weekend. No better to end the podcast than that. Thanks to Jez, thanks to Lewis, our cameraman, and thanks to you for choosing the All Together Now Everton Football Club podcast.